On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
That's the thing. I would love arranged marriages, an arranged marriage, and I think we should think about it that way. But I think the way we are as people is preventing that conversation from even happening, to even look at that as an option. I sometimes see and hear stories of families that have a lot of money typically do that to keep the money within their families. I see that happening more, like a lot. But you don't see that in any other like socioeconomic group or things like that. So that's my take is, listen, if there's people out there, like, I wish it was like a website, like people that are for arranged marriages, right? Like, but that too would still be kind of like contributing to what society has with all the dating apps and still being able to choose. It would not be as authentic as I think it should be. So that's my take.
Make sure you guys get them likes up right now. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I see y'all laughing, man. Y'all got the black on, man.
JR, you were like, okay,
it's kind of looking like it's gonna be a funeral today.
Yeah, you was like, yeah, we tossing that one. That's we done with that.
Yeah, we done with that one, man. I think we went that one about 3 weeks in a row, man. We're done. It's done, son. You feel me?
Hey, but look, I will say though, JR, and I applaud you on this, bro. I think it is important to have these conversations, man. So, salute to you for helping us push this thing forward, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Again, get them likes up. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Moving on to our next topic. But before we do, I'm going to play a video. Before I play that video, I want to have a conversation about how we approach marriage, right? How we approach marriage. We often talk about people that are married, people that are not married, but leading up into it, I kind of want to highlight a few points about that. I'm going to play this video for you guys right now.
Okay. Arranged marriages tend to work better for several reasons. One, because marriage is a business. Marriage is a business, and we know that it's a business. Here's the thing. If you look at marriages for people, $250,000 net income, gross income or more, the divorce rate drops to around less than 20%. Prior to 1930, there didn't used to be an engagement period. What's the purpose of an engagement? To sell diamonds, to get people to give money. If Anton was Kay's father and I wanted to marry Kay, I had to roll up on Anton and say, hey, Mr. Daniels, I have need of a wife. I hear you have a daughter of marrying age. Yes, I do. All right. Here's who I am. And here's what I'm willing to do. And we'd have a discussion. How you going to provide for my daughter that I've kept in a certain way? And I'd have to end up, whether I paid you a dowry or when we'd make an agreement, and Anton would say, you have permission to do what? Court my daughter. Then I'd roll over to Kay and I'd say, hey, Kay, how you doing? Met your daddy, and under the protection of your daddy and under the watch of your women in your family, we'd sit there and play with your Madagascar bugs and carry no in. We do all that stuff. And we'd walk and we'd talk and we would sip lemonade and we would do whatever we would. Yeah, we would do. I listened to him screech, and I understand that's a German cockroach versus this one. That's really not a cockroach. That's a water bug. This is a big roach. Okay, and then you'd be like, okay, Father, he seems to be acceptable. And she said, well, my daughter says yes. This still happens in the Middle East to this day. An arranged marriage, the woman still gets to decline yay or nay. And if she says yes, I've consulted with people as much as last week about this. Straight up, people from the Middle East consult with your boy. And then we'd gone down. We would be a big engagement. We'd make a ceremony, jump broom, and get the hell on. There would not be an ounce of love between Kay and I. There'd be some like. We would kind of know what each other looked like. But the first night we were husband and wife. Would be the first time we would kiss. It would be awkward. First time starfish sex. It would be probably really short and awkward. And then she'd get up and she'd go do the things she was supposed to do as the woman, and I go do the things I was supposed to do as a man. And eventually we would find a way to get into a groove. And those things are, and if you have a relationship that's built on more than like love, because if you've ever loved somebody, that's a feeling. Those feelings can come up and down, but what makes relationships last a long time is the duty that Kay has to her dad. I can't leave my husband because my father said this man and he paid and my father and this man have an agreement. And if I left, it would make the family look bad. It would make my brothers look bad. My sisters look bad. There's more to it. It's not all about how we feel. So I would say, fuck our feelings. It has to be more.
Man, that was a great video. I know, Amira, it's your first time seeing that, and it's probably sounds familiar because we heard a little bit about you discussing that. I believe it was last week. And so I had to find a video. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is arranged marriage. And I talked about how we treat marriage when we approach it. You're not there yet, but how we lead up to it. So I want to talk about arranged marriage and you guys' thoughts about it, because I know it's something that's not commonly done here, but what if we can look at approaching marriage differently? Would it be better? Should we consider it? Is it something that we want to adopt? Is it a bad idea? Let's talk arranged marriage. I'm going to start with you, Lauren. Arranged marriage. Now, what are your thoughts about it? I know you're a single lady out there, and
yes,
you know, I know you should be approaching marriage within the next 2 or 3 years.
God willing. Okay. So arranged marriages is really funny because I've always said I would prefer it that way. Like it's funny, you know, if y'all watch me on Anton's show, you probably hear me talk about love and looks, right? Okay, like I do want a nice looking man, right? But I think the reason why the words arranged marriages never came out of my mouth is because, unfortunately, it's not a reality. It's not a real option in today's world. And that is due to a number of factors. Men and women are not open. It requires openness. It requires cooperation. And the way society is structured right now, we are presented with so many options. You have social media involved. And because we are presented with so many options and there's a lot in our face, everybody wants to explore all the options, right? But if I was born way back when arranged marriages were considered, I would not have a problem with it. It would make my life easier, number one, because dating is not the greatest. And you have a trusted figure to kind of vet the person. Right now, you have women who are not matured. They haven't matured. They're not developed, making decisions on who they want to be with. I think that's often irresponsible. And I'm talking about myself as well, because I'm not out of that. Like, I've made some terrible decisions in my life as well. But that's the thing. I would love arranged marriages, an arranged marriage. And I think we should think about it that way. But I think the way we are as people is preventing that conversation from even happening, to even look at that as an option. I sometimes see and hear stories of families that have a lot of money, typically do that to keep the money within their families. I see that happening more, like a lot. But you don't see that in any other like socioeconomic group or things like that. So that's my take is, listen, if there's people out there, like, I wish it was like a website, like people that are for arranged marriages, right? Like, but that too would still be kind of like contributing to what society has with all the dating apps and still being able to choose. It would not be as authentic as I think it should be. So that's my take.